All right. Hello, everyone. It is the first Wednesday of the month, and that means it's time for some product release notes. I am joined here with my co-host, Nate. Nate, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Nate Munger, head of customer success here at Courier, and been here for just about a year. And I think this is our second monthly release notes.
Yeah.
It seems to be an exciting way to talk about all the cool product we're shipping. So I'm excited to be participating again this month.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think we have some really exciting things that came out last month. So excited to talk about it, excited to talk with our engineers about it. Now, what was it on Monday? The email went out, right? So is it the first Monday of the month? We come out with our product release and email form, and you send that out.
Yep.
So for those of you out there who did not receive it, how do you get that email every month?
If you have a Courier account, you should be getting it. If you don't have a Courier account, it's free to sign up. So go ahead and start.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah. So as always, if you are new to Courier, if you're checking it out, go over to courier.com and sign up. And not only will you get 10,000 notifications of free each month, but you'll also get our monthly newsletter. So look forward to that. I need to turn off this banner, as it turns out. There we go. All right, let's get into it. Let me switch over to my screen here. Those are our wonderful slides. So a sneak peek of who will be joining us here shortly. But first, we want to give a shout out to our Discord server. So we have a growing community of Courier users hanging out over in our Discord server, and you can join that by going to discord.gg/courier. You can talk to me, you can talk to Nate, you can talk to any of our wonderful engineers. We're all there to talk to you. And then most importantly, you can talk to other people who are using Courier. So come on over, say hi. Excellent. All right. So to start off, I think we'll go ahead and talk about the changes that are coming in our in-app notifications.
Yeah, these are coming fast and furious. We first talked about this last month, and there's already been some really cool design updates, new features. So I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, there's been some really great conversations in the help channel in Discord. We have our engineers helping people get set up. A lot of people starting to use it. I started playing around with it, like using it as a way to display notifications on my personal stream. So that was really fun to do. But without further ado, let's welcome Riley. And let me add her to the stream here. Hello, Riley.
Hello.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Riley. I've been here at Courier almost 2 years. 2 years in July, so I've been here a little bit, and I've been kind of building out the in-app team as my recent projects, and it's really, really cool because it's a way to really take something that's hard to do and implement it in our clients' websites and really make our clients' websites really feel big, robust, and feature rich. So I'm really excited about that.
All right. Oh,
bye.
Yeah, I know. I'm on two separate screens, and if I don't click back over onto the one with the slides, then if I hit like next slide, it actually removes the person, which is not fun. But hey, it's live. What do you expect? We're gonna play with this. We can fix it in post. So last month we had, I think it was Jay. Jay came on and talked about our Courier web push integration, and it was really based around these toast notifications. And this is what people have been working with over the last month. But Riley is here to tell us about our newest offering in in-app, and that is the inbox widget, which is now in beta. So what do you want to tell us about the widget, the inbox widget, Riley?
Hold on a second. My dog is being upset at me.
Oh, no worries. We love dogs here. I don't know if Blue has been featured in our Twitter yet, but another reason to follow our Twitter, which is @TryCourier, because occasionally you get to see posts of our animals. So mostly dogs, but we have other ones coming.
Yeah, she gets upset when I'm talking to people on my laptop. So she's growling at me right now.
Convenient.
Okay, so the toast is great, and the toast, as mentioned in the previous thing, but we can do a little bit of review. Is that like, Toast gives us ability to, you can send an event to Courier, and then you can kind of have us send that to your website. And you might ask, well, we already have that. We have browser push, we have mobile push, and yes, those do work, but they're not necessarily in your application. They're a little bit outside of it, and they're not really styled that well. And if Adrian goes back to the previous widget, you'll see that you can style this. You can put your icon, you can change the colors, you can have details and dismiss, and you can add different buttons. So this is really cool because it really kind of augments your application. And also, me personally, I really don't like to subscribe to browser push notifications. They scare me, and also I feel like they're really intrusive. But inside of your web app, I think is really great. But the problem with this is that what happens if my message disappears before I see it, or I'm looking somewhere else, like yelling at my dog, and I come up, not yelling, being very, very polite and nice and telling her to please be quiet while I'm on the phone. And I come back and then I see that the messages just disappeared. And I'm like,
sure,
what was that? What was that? Well, what we have now is we have an inbox. The inbox is going to be the history of all the messages that got sent to you on Toast. And that's really cool because it's a history. So maybe you saw the Toast, you didn't want to deal with it, you wanted to deal with it later. And now all of a sudden you can go click into our inbox and see the history of all of them. And you can see the unread messages, all messages, giving you the ability to kind of really control this. And so it's basically just like a history of all the toasts.
Yeah.
Right there. And it's really exciting for us. And there's gonna be a lot of really, really cool things that we're gonna do with this in the future. Like integrating this not just with Toast, but with email, for example. So say I got a Toast message that came in, but I also emailed somebody and they're part of the same message. But I opened the email, that's automatically going to mark your Toast message in your inbox as read.
Oh, that's very cool.
With Courier, and if you're using Courier for everything, we really have the ability to kind of make everything talk to each other. And you're not going to get that anywhere else. And that's really, really kind of exciting. So I'm really excited about the features and the progress that we're making here.
Yeah, and kind of like I don't know if I don't watch commercials anymore, but there used to be the commercial for the hair club for men. We're not only the president, but we're also a client. So you can see the inbox widget in use in Courier today.
I think it's behind a flag, but yes.
Is it behind a flag?
Yeah. So Adrian, you can see it.
It's in beta in our app.
Yeah.
Join the beta. Okay. I guess I need to log in with my non-Courier account more often so I can see what's behind the flag.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about the widget because it's so easy to add this. I think like all of the power that you're seeing there is really happening like behind the scenes. Courier is facilitating that. So to integrate it with your website, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have two ways of integrating it. We have a way of using React, which is shown here. And if you're familiar with React, a lot of components like this have a provider component. All of our in-apps, so in-apps can be like an umbrella term that we'll be using, and it's going to encompass multiple different components.
Sure.
So in-app will be considered for inbox, for Toast, and then for preferences and things like that moving forward. So for all these components, you need to wrap them in a Courier provider. And the Courier provider is what's going to be responsible for talking to Courier. So you can kind of think of it as the transport between your website and Courier. I'm going to go get the messages. I'm going to know who your user ID is. I'm going to help you mark messages as read or unread, and everything like that. But it's just as simple as this is my user and this is my client key. we will be supporting more authentication for domains and user signatures. But for now,
Okay.
the simplest way to get up and running is saying, hey, this is my user ID and this is my client key.
Nice. Yeah. So basically, if you are already a user of our Toast component, this could be as simple as just pulling in the inbox component and then adding it inside your already existing Courier provider because it's using the same provider. Yeah. We have a question in the chat. Is Courier thinking of adding more capabilities like searching, filtering, and flagging messages?
Wow, that's a really great question. I think that, so searching, filtering. So we do support filtering in the sense that if you go back to the previous tab, we do have unread and all messages.
Okay.
And those are basically two different filtered lists. So unread basically has a flag as a filter says is read false, and then all messages is basically no filters. So we have the ability to do filters, giving like a filter pane where you can say, I want this between these dates sent to this or not, I guess sent to this person because it'll only be sent to you. I think it's definitely a possibility, and I like the idea. And like with that, like search and filters would be an easy thing to add, and I like the idea. But as of right now, you just gave us that idea, so.
Yeah, and that's the great thing is right now the beta is open. So Nate, do you want to tell us how you join our beta program?
Yeah, you can just reach out to support@courier.com and I'll connect with you and get you access to the beta documentation. And we'd love to get feedback. That's one of the things that we hope that beta participants would be willing to do for us, because it is being tested and we do want to improve it and we want to encompass user feedback. So
yeah,
but if you're interested, reach out to support and we'll connect.
Yeah, so sign up for access, start implementing it, and if you have great ideas for features, if you find any bugs, please let us know, and we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can add to kind of the roadmap for these components.
Yeah, and I love that question, by the way. Like we're in beta, so like the more feedback, the better at this point. So please just keep them coming.
So let's talk a little bit about the design and what can be customized here. So we have kind of an overview image of what the inbox looks like and all of the different components. And so these are all customizable, right, Riley?
Yeah. So out of the box, we basically have these different sections like header, footer, icon, bell icon, message actions, and basically title, body, and everything like that, and basically how long ago the message came in. For the React components, all of these are associated with render props. Okay. So I think in the next thing you have the interface for inbox props. You have render header, render icon, render messages, render message. So you can take control of rendering all of these. Granted, that's pretty advanced stuff if you want to do that. But really, what Courier wants to do, and what Courier kind of has as kind of our brand, is that we want to be opinionated in the sense that we want people to get up and running as quick as possible and get this beautiful right off the bat without having to do much work. But then kind of give you escape hatches. And one thing that we're going to do with this, if you go back to the previous slide, sorry, I'm just having you kind of jump around, but we're building a UI for this as well. And we will have the ability for you to, inside Courier, choose your colors and choose different parts of the theming that you want, say your icon, because obviously no one's going to be using the Courier icon necessarily, but it's fun for us to show it off because we love that little bird inside of it. If you've never noticed that there's a bird there.
Yes, we do.
So we're going to be building the UI to allow you to edit these things, and I think that will be a lot of fun for people to be able to do it without actually having to know what is a render prop, because a render prop is an advanced React concept that not everybody's going to know how to do, but everybody will know how to use a color picker, or I hope so.
Yeah, so probably next month we'll be back here talking about the expanded brands part of the Courier app. That will allow you to set all of these without having to mess with code, which is
and if you're familiar with Courier, you'll know that there's this brand concept where you can basically go and say, for my emails, I want these colors and this logo and everything. So this is basically just taking that brand concept and adding in-app inside of it. And then so you can have a consistent brand right out the gate between your in-app and your emails.
Yeah, but until then, we have the ability to theme it, and so we've got information about the different properties for the theme. So you can set CSS properties on the header, the footer, the icon, all the different things about the message list. So all the different parts that we call out there, you can customize using CSS.
Yeah, and it's really extensive. We're using styled components here, so you can basically have control over the CSS of any single part of the inbox to your heart's content. Granted, we'd love you to use ours, but we know that's not always going to happen. So, but we're trying to make it as pretty as possible without having much user interaction.
Awesome. I think this is our last slide on the inbox. Yeah. So the last thing we want to do while we have you is we want to talk about kind of a sneak peek. So like what's coming in the next month. So we've really touched on the branding, like the branding inside the Courier app, but we also wanted to mention this preferences component. Last month, we had Suhas on talking about the changes that we did to preferences. And this is kind of building on top of that. Do you want to speak towards this at kind of a high level? We don't need to go too much in because we're going to go into this next month.
Yeah, so kind of what I mentioned before about this concept of in-app being an umbrella term. The next set of components or next component that we're adding inside the in-app is preferences. So kind of like we said before, is that integrating all these things in your own application, building a WebSocket client, building toast notifications, building an inbox, it all be done relatively easily. I mean, like not relatively easily, but you can build it yourself, right? And with this, we do have an API for preferences. So you could right now go ahead and build a UI, have a proxy server that then talks to Courier, and then set your preferences that way. But wouldn't it just be cooler if we had components that you can just embed into your page already, and then you could basically get everything out of the box? And that's what Courier is trying to do with all of in-app, is that saying, yes, you could do all this yourself, but hey, look, you can get it up and running right away, and look at how powerful your app looks now, and you can kind of really flex your muscle by having Courier there behind the scenes.
And I see that this will be brandable as well, right?
Yeah. So basically, the branding that you will choose for the inbox will also brand this. So
nice. Well, I think this is our last slide for you. Thank you for coming on and explaining this. Really powerful stuff and really easy to use right out of the gate. Looking forward to all the new beta testers and the people who will ultimately be in Discord discussing it with us. So thank you, Riley. And we are going to move on. So
bye, Riley. Thanks.
Bye. All right.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's cool. Like what they're coming out with in app, like each month, it's just they're going just above and beyond every time. Very excited about this one. We're going to take a look at what's been happening inside automations. And to do that, we're going to bring on, I think we're technically going to bring back. Yeah. Chris Gradwell. Hey, Chris.
Hey,
welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. How's it going?
Good. Do you want to introduce yourself again?
Yeah, sure. My name's Chris. I work here at Courier. I started here in January on the automations team, and which is kind of like the Swiss Army knife at Courier. And so, yeah, lots of exciting things have been happening, and excited to talk about them.
Yeah. So he's been with automations since the beginning. So there's very few people here who probably know as much as Chris does about what's going on with automations. But speaking of what is going on with automations, and I think the next slide is kind of a big announcement. Did it again. All right, here we go. We're going to advance the slide.
Cool.
So automations is now available for everyone.
Yeah, super exciting. Everybody's been working really hard on it. Lots of product development, back and forth, lots of feedback, and it's just exciting to get it out there and get people using it.
Yeah, so the beta flag has been removed. If you are in Courier, you can find the automation is it the Automation Studio? What are we calling it?
I like Automation Studio.
The Automation Studio, yeah. So if you go to our designer, the little palette on the left, up on the top, you're going to see that automation tab, and it's going to allow you to create your templates, or you could auto stud in the chat. Very nice. Or you can use the Automations API, but it's available to everybody now.
Yeah. Also, I just want to shout out the data tab as well. So, like, if you click on the little database icon, there's a automations tab there as well.
Okay.
So you could see all of your automation runs. You could click into it and see different steps that have been invoked, some that are still processing, some that haven't been processed yet. So yeah, lots of functionality we released. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So not only is it now available for everyone, we've got some changes and updates happening as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So the first one, you can now schedule an automation. So we can have an automation run based on a CRON expression rather than it being invoked using the API.
Yeah, this is a super powerful feature. So like after you define your automation template, you can just set a reoccurring time that you would like this template to be invoked. So this is really powerful for like digest use cases or just any type of reoccurring send that you would want to happen. You can just do it here in the UI. Just define the template and schedule it.
Yeah, and that's really powerful for people who only work inside of our app as well, because now they can create a template and then they can just schedule it to go, and you don't need to have like a developer trigger it using the API. So a lot of powerful workflows, I think, are going to come from this, and we're going to allow a lot of people to get them set up.
Yeah, and if you don't want like a reoccurring cron-like job where it's going to happen every Friday at 9 a.m., you could also just enter in any ISO 8601 timestamp there. So if you just wanted to schedule, like, if you just wanted to run, next Wednesday at a specific time and just have it run once, you can just enter in that timestamp there as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I put this in like it was recurring, but it's
both. Yeah,
schedule it to run at a specific time. That's nice.
Yeah,
it might be worthwhile just either refreshing or letting new people know the kind of more of the basics of automations. What are some of the steps that can be included in automation as they're building that?
Yeah. So especially when around scheduling, like some of the steps that you can define in your automation template are like a send step. So you could send to a individual recipient. We have a send list step where you could send, if you're using Courier lists, you could send to every recipient in your list. We have a delay step. This provides some type of functionality where maybe you want to wait a while after an event happens. We were talking to a customer that when someone subscribed to a specific feature in their application, they wanted to send them a message, but they didn't want to do it right away because they felt like that was kind of an aggressive move. So you could find a delay step for like 3 hours and then send your email message, right? And we have some new steps this month as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about those.
Yeah.
So talking about the new steps and functionality. Yeah, go for it, Chris.
Yeah. So first up is the update profile step. This was in response to one of our customers' feedback. But basically, what the use case for this would be like, let's say something's changed. Your user has changed some part of their account information, their profile information. This will update the Courier profile on the notification side so that everything stays in sync. And then the two really powerful updates or changes that we brought on were the fetch data step and the send list step. So this is driving towards that digest use case where you want to deliver a notification and have the data for that notification be within the context of some time period, like, for a week or something. So the fetch data step allows you to fetch data from a URL that you provide, and then we take that data and use it to render the notification. And similarly, in the send list step, we added functionality for a data source property that does the same thing, but this way it could be targeted per recipient. So you could fetch some data from a URL, and that data will be specific to the recipient, and we'll use that data to send them a very targeted notification for that recipient.
Yeah. So yeah, we got fetch data is so fetch in the chat. Stop trying to make fetch happen.
But you shout out there to participating in the beta and having the ability to give that kind of feedback that impacts the product. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think now we want to like kind of drill down into these two new steps and kind of talk about. You mentioned how they would help with digest. So let's talk about digest.
Okay. Cool.
Oh wait. Oh whoa. We weren't done talking about update profile, I guess. So
yeah, this was one of the first ones that we did last month. So this is just a way to update your Courier profile.
Sure.
And what's interesting about this is the merge strategy.
Yeah.
So you can define like how you would like those updates to happen. So we allow all of that control for you. So if you want to completely wipe out the existing profile, just provide the replace merge strategy with the API call, and that'll just completely wipe out. But if you would like some more sophisticated merge options, we offer those as well.
Nice. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
I think now we're getting into the digest.
the really good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So but first let's talk. I guess we're looking at. We're just so excited about these digests. We want them now. But let's look at what is entailed in these steps. So this is the JSON for the fetch data step, and then the updated JSON for the fetch data in the send list. So
right. So there's two like main types of digests that we're thinking about right now at Courier. There's like the generic digest where you just want to fetch some data and send that data to all of the people.
Okay.
So every notification will get the same data. And this would be an example of this would be like, let's say you want to send some team statistics to everybody on your team.
Okay.
Well, that data is going to be the same because everyone's on the same team, right? So it's just more of an update. So everybody will receive the exact same notification. And so to facilitate a generic type of digest, what you would use is the fetch data step followed by like a send list step. So what fetch data will do, it'll reach out to the API that you provide, and it'll return, and we'll store that data for you, and then use that to render the generic notification.
Okay. And then the other side, there's the send list step, and it now has the
data source property.
The data source property, which am I missing it in there?
No, it's there.
Oh, it's there. Okay, yeah. I think indention's a little off. Oh, it's missing it's missing a comma. That's why. Okay, but
that's okay.
We can provide a data source property and do this per recipient. And so we'll go into the example here in a moment. But here's what the JSON looks like if you remember to put a comma in.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Exactly. So back to the generic digest. This is kind of So I'll let you go on it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So like again, like I was saying, if you just need to send everybody in your list like the same type of notification with the same data, then what you're going to want to use is the fetch data step. And this will just take the response from that URL that you provide, and we'll store it for you behind the scenes. And then we'll use that data to send everybody on the list the same notification. So if like a team setting or something where the data is kind of generic across all recipients, this would be like the way to automate that with Courier.
And so the person who's creating the notification in the designer, they would just expect this data to come into the data attribute, like if you pass it over in a send.
Exactly. Okay. And what makes this really powerful is like you could have this like return specific data over a period of time. So if you wanted to send like a weekly digest notification or a weekly message to all of your teammates, the data can be dynamic in that sense. So that every time that we make a call to that API URL that you provide, it will return data that's applicable for that time period, which is really cool.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, and then the second type of digest that we're talking about today is the recipient digest.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to?
Sure. Yeah. So like, if you have a use case where you want to send everybody in your list a very targeted notification, where you want to display to them some type of data that's very unique to them, then what you're going to want to use is the send list step. So, and we've added functionality to this to include that data source property. And in the data source property, you provide us a URL, and that URL needs to accept a query parameter with the recipient ID. And in this way, you can return very specific recipient data that will be used to render that targeted notification.
Nice. So people out there probably don't know, at the end of every cycle, we have our engineers build a demo. So we have like a demo day channel, and it's really a great way for the rest of the people in the company to like actually see something actionable that came out of the engineering cycle. And so Chris actually came up with a demo for this. But do you want to let them know what your example was for Recipient Digest?
Yeah, like for example, imagine you have some type of e-commerce, or not e-commerce, some e-learning platform where you have a bunch of students, and each student, is enrolled in different courses. They have different grades. They've made different progress in their courses. So what you want to do is you want to send them a weekly notification uh, and give them a progress update and say, hey, this is where you're at in these courses, and this is your current grade in each of these courses. And so to do that, what I did is me and Adrian built out a Netlify function that had specific data for each one of our recipients, and then we passed that URL into this send list step. And in this way, the send list step will reach out, get that specific recipient data with the grades, the courses, and the progress, all that, and then use that to render a notification and deliver it to each one of the students.
Yeah, so this is an automation that could be set to run, like say every Friday, and every Friday it's going to go out and hit that endpoint and get new data.
Yeah.
So like you can really like build the notification, you can set up the automation, and then kind of set it and forget it. Like if it's something that's going to run every Friday, like you are good to run every Friday.
Yeah, it's the easy bake oven of automation steps.
Nice.
So I have a question. Now that we've talked about the general digest and the recipient digest, can we combine them? Can we do something like a notification that does like a team status, but also in that same notification, it gives you your individual status? So that would require, the fetch data step along with this updated send list step that takes a data source.
Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of goes back to that merge strategy idea. So the way that you would do this, so imagine you want to send a team notification, and then in the same automation template, you want to send recipient-based notifications. So first, what you would do is you would define a fetch data step to fetch all of the team data that's going to be generic across your team, followed by a send list step with no data source property. And what this will do is it'll send everybody the same data, the same notification. The third step would then be another send list step, but this time with a data source property. And then that way you'll provide a specific URL for each recipient in your list.
Okay.
And that will send everybody a unique notification as well. And if you really want to, you can add a delay step in there in between to kind of like space them out a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess my question was like, can we have it in like combined into into one message where you have like the team information and your individual information in one message, like
in one send call.
In one send call, yeah.
Yeah, one message.
So
that's interesting. I actually don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't think so. At this point,
it
I don't
wasn't
think
my
so.
intention to stump the engineer during.
No. I love that idea though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have to think about that. I don't think it's currently supported, but there might be a way to build that into the send list step to where you kind of want to do both.
I guess I just didn't know if like it would continue to add on to the context. like as long as you name things correctly, if it would like
Right.
have this context and then in the send list, like if it does that, like merge that in.
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah. Yeah. We just figured it out, Adrian. Yeah. So I guess you just define one send list step, right?
Yeah.
And then in like the body of the automation property, you would just define like the generic team data.
Mm-hmm.
And then in each send list, and then in the send list step, provide that specific, URL. And then as long as your notification template is set up to handle both of those, yeah, that would work.
Awesome. Yeah, this is very exciting stuff because like I get a lot of these types of emails. So like with Postman, it tells me how many times I've contacted an API, or beacons. I have a beacon site, and it will send me one of these digests that tell me like how many links have been clicked and different things like that. So it's really cool that like we can so easily put this together like all inside of Courier. So like we can set up the cron, we can set up the webhooks to go out and grab more data and merge it all in. It's really powerful stuff that all works together.
You just cut things by 50%. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. That's Swiss Army knife.
Exactly. So, I mean, I could see, I think we're getting to the point where it's time for Courier to do this kind of thing. A regular digest to our users to talk about our metrics. I think
that'd be great.
That might be coming. I know we're talking about things like that internally. But any reason to use more Courier inside Courier, we love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Was this... Okay. So that was the end of automations. Thank you, Chris, for joining us once again. We're going to be very excited to see what comes out next month. So Chris might be here next month. We might have somebody else from the team, but we'll see what ends up happening. So
either way, we'll keep you posted. Yeah, right on. Thank you, guys.
Bye. All right. And you think we might be done, but there's more. So we kind of broke this up into different teams. We did in-app, and then we did automations. But there's one update that's kind of exciting, and it doesn't really fit into one of the teams. And that is outbound webhooks, which is now in beta. So outbound webhooks, man.
This is a long time request.
It is a long time coming. I joke because like when I was interviewing with Troy like over a year and a half ago, I was like, "Do you have webhooks?" Which is like a question that I would ask any product that I was interviewing for. I was like, "Do you have webhooks?" Because I love webhooks, and you would know that by all of the playing that I've been doing with the Twitch webhooks. Mm-hmm. It's fun to do. But now you have the ability to get message status updates pushed to you from Courier. So there's no more need to pull the messages API. We have a lot of requests that are simply just checking to see the status of messages. And so now you can kind of revamp the way that you architect your app and listen for that. And so you can cut out like a lot of calls to Courier, which is great for us, great for you. And so this is now in beta. We're currently supporting message status updates, more to come, lots of features. But again, if you're interested in webhooks and being in the beta, reach out to us over support on Intercom, on Discord, you name it.
Yeah, this one's exciting too. It's like, this is kind of like an understated but really powerful, I think, slide that you've put together here. This is a big, yeah. The ability to just listen for updates is going to be huge.
It is, like, and even like in the little side projects that I'm working on, like I do, I have my own little Discord bot in a side server, and one of the things that I'm doing is I'm listening for when the message is sent, so that way I can get back the ID of the message that was posted in Discord. So that way later on, I can do things like update that message or reply to that message. And so like right now I have like this little polling process that kicks off, and it usually takes like 1 or 2 times checking the messages API for it to actually hit that delivered status where I have that data. And so now I can just have it, whenever it changes, sent to me, and I can get rid of that little polling process, because I've had a lot of problems with it. Not actually doing its job and like swallowing errors. So I'm excited to implement the webhooks myself.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think that was the last of our updates. Let me go back here, and that's it. So a little shorter this time, but pretty helpful to Comcast users. Oh, yeah. I guess you're on Comcast. Do you get throttled, or do you have a max amount of data that you can use a month? Yeah. But yeah, so that was this month. You can look for us again on the first Wednesday of the month, going over the product release notes for it will be for February. So no, why did I say that? It will be for May. So look for us the first Wednesday of June. We'll be coming back with all the things that we're doing this month. There's a lot of great things that we have queued up, and we can't wait to talk to you about them. But if you want to know about things earlier, again, jump into our Discord. It is discord.gg/courier. Come say hi, talk to the rest of the community, see what we're up to. But until then,
updates.courier.com is another place where you can get early insight into what we're working on.
That is right.
Prior to release, we also put things that we're working on now there.
Yeah. So plenty of visibility into what we're doing here at Courier. Anything else to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. It's been fun. It's been educational, and we will see you next time. So, All right. Bye, Nate.
Bye. See ya.